They brewed this cup of coffee up for me, and it is amazing. You see, brew up is a phrasal verb, and that's what we're going to talk about today. There is separable phrasal verbs and inseparable phrasal verbs. You see, separable phrasal verbs are kind of like Lego blocks in a sentence. You can take the verb and the particle apart and stick something in between. For example, in I'm going to pick my friend up, you can stick my friend between pick and up. Like I'm going to pick up my friend. It's like they're buddies, but they're cool with being apart for a bit, as long as at the end they get back together. So separable phrasal verbs are flexible, like that in sentences. You can take them apart, put them back together. But what I'm going to teach you guys today are inseparable phrasal verbs. Remember, inseparable means something that cannot be separated. Inseparable phrasal verbs are those where the verb and the particle by no means can be separated by a direct object. It's impossible. You see, in the spoken language, it's like they're a package deal. You can't separate them because if you separate them, you're going to change the meaning. And then it's just completely wrong. I'll give you an example. In I always look up to my father, it just can't be I always look my father up to. It sounds off and it's wrong. So inseparable phrasal verbs stick together like glue in a sentence. And don't mess with that. You ready? Here we go. I'm going to teach you guys a few. Break down. When something breaks down, it means it's no longer working. Right before I started shooting my video, my microphone broke down. You can say a mental breakdown, which is really bad, which means the person is having mental problems. Remember, breakdown is a phrasal verb that means to stop functioning. Here's another phrasal verb, call off. You can use call off in place of the word cancel. Today, I'm going to call off the meeting, which means exactly I'm going to cancel the meeting. By using phrasal verbs in your everyday conversation, it makes you sound more natural, more native-like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on. Carry on is a phrasal verb, which means to continue doing what you were doing. I'm going to carry on teaching you guys English here on YouTube. These phrasal verbs make you sound natural. Practice them, learn them. You see, sometimes you're just going to come across phrasal verbs and you have to know what they mean. When you say to come across something, it means to find it by chance, unexpectedly. You can even use it for someone. You know, I came across Steve at the mall yesterday, which means I saw Steve by chance. Find out. To discover something. I have found out that the best way for students to learn English is by to never use their mother tongue in class. Yes, I have found that out over the years. Remember, found is the past of find. Find out means to discover something. Very simple. This one, listen to it. Get along. When you get along with someone, it means you have a good relationship with them. But you can also put, I do not get along, which means you don't have a good relationship. I get along with my wife wonderfully, which means my wife and I have a great relationship. I do not get along with my boss at all, which means my boss and I do not have a good relationship. But I'm not going to talk about my boss right now. I'm going to go on teaching you guys English. This phrasal verb, go on, means to continue, to proceed, to keep doing what you're doing. So I'm going to go on teaching you guys English. Look for. It's very simple to search for something. You know, this morning, all day, I was looking for my car keys. I couldn't find them anywhere. Now, you may think to yourself, these are very simple, but they're actually so useful. They make you sound more natural. Phrasal verbs are a gigantic part of the English language. Now, if you don't understand a phrasal verb or something I'm teaching, pause the video and just look it up on the internet. To say look up means to search for information or consult a reference source. so you can use Google as your reference source. You see how easy that is? One more, and then I'm going to teach you guys a few other things. Put off. Don't put off learning English, which means to postpone. Everybody puts off something. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today is a proverb, which means don't put something off for tomorrow because you could do it today. You see, learning English is very complicated. I've been teaching English for 12 years now, and I know it's not easy at all. So don't put it off. We're going to play a small game now. I am going to say a sentence. You're going to try to write that sentence down exactly. And where are you going to write it down? In the comment section. You ready? Yesterday, I ran into my wife at the mall by chance. I couldn't believe it. One more time. Yesterday, I ran into my wife by chance at the mall. I couldn't believe it. Write that down. I know it sounds silly, but it'll help you guys so much. It helps your listening. People, I'm out. Don't forget, use phrasal verbs. They improve your English immensely.